Hi everybody. So thanks for watching this. I just want to make this a really short video just to get to the point of everything. So bear with me, and I just want to introduce you today to a process to wake you up and jolt you out of that low energy vibe that we sometimes get into, right? It's like a feeling disempowered state. So get you back into that energy flow of moving forward, like, yeah, feeling good again. So what that low energy can be is like we're drifting in the mind. The mind does tend to drift, and that can lead to complacency and stagnation. We can feel we have no meaning, we can feel that we have no purpose, no destination, we can't bring forth what we really want. Okay. So because of the drifting, our mind usually ends up going to the things that are related to fears, doubts, and indecision, or we interpret situations to be fearful and doubtful. So we need a goal, and we need to make a decision to release from the drifting, from the stagnation and indecision and stuckness, right? Okay. So when you observe where you find yourself stuck, you can make a decision to release from it. Just like, oh, I don't want to feel like that anymore. I don't want to move forward. I want to be happy. And if you're not moving forward, if you're not happy, then something's keeping you stuck. Okay, so usually it's an old, outdated, disempowering belief, because very often what happens is we attribute how we feel to somebody close to us. We blame people, and it's a really common thing because we blame the closest people to us, because the mind is just going, oh, I'll blame this, I'll blame that. And it's very often it is an unconscious disempowering belief within us. So we don't have to blame anyone. We can actually go into, use self-reflection and go into find out what that belief is that's keeping us there, that's keeping us disempowered. You get these like feelings in your stomach, and that is usually a key sign that you're giving your power away to something else or somebody else, and you're not. That's like a whole bunch of lies. So you can use your power, and you can go in within, and we can move, we can immobilize, we can reflect, and we can find where we feel stuck and immobilized, and we're having a hard time making that decision, and we can go within and move in the direction and change the outer circumstance around. So the question is, how do we find this decision? So, well, perhaps one of the reasons we have a hard time coming up with this decision is because we're clouded by, like I said, disempowering beliefs. So we reflect in conversations with ourselves or someone that we trust and identify these beliefs that we have. They appear for us to cause us to feel stuck in whatever that circumstance is, whether it's a job, a relationship, a business, whatever it is. So one of the commitments I've made in my life is to release myself from this experience of being stuck, no matter where it shows up. And this has served me really well, and it's brought me to a place where I understand where I felt stuck, because I recognize where I identified with a certain disempowering belief. Excuse me. I evolved the belief, I changed it, and that led me to take the right action or the right decision. Or, possibly, it's totally possible that the environment changed on its own. And this is what we get into the flow state. It's a very empowering state. So, like I said before, you can facilitate this process, and I have 8 really great questions that can help you to do this. So for the first one, we want to find out what the problem is. Like, what is the problem? I mean, we always know what the problem is because our mind is thinking about it over and over and over, okay? And it's distraction. You know, it is, that's all it is. It's just a distraction. So we write these down. What is the problem? Write it down now. If you've got anything right now that's going round and round your mind, write it on the sheet of paper, number one. Okay, number two, ask ourselves what we're physically feeling. Okay, so are you tight in your chest? Maybe there's a knot in your stomach. Maybe you're ready to, have that ready to burst feeling. Is there a gnawing irritability in your body? Are you feeling low energy or feeling disempowered? Are you reaching for a sugar hit? Maybe you're going to get a cookie and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's fun, but it could be a sign that your energy is low. And if your energy is low, you're reaching for a sugar high, but that's your instincts. Your instincts are kicking in saying you need more energy, you need to raise your energy. So, but you're getting it through some sugary or coffee, even. So just identify what you're feeling in your body. Okay, so that's number two. So number three, what are the emotions? So look at those emotions, look at them. Don't be afraid of them. They're just emotions. They're not going to hurt you. Feel those emotions. Okay, don't go into the story, just feel them in your body. Don't reject them and don't run away from them. So pick a feeling. You might be feeling like, oh, I'm resentful, I'm irritated, this is so unfair. Okay, accept that you are angry or you're annoyed and own it. Accepting yourself and these parts of you, I mean, that is the key for change. So it's all about accepting it. Okay, so number four, from that place, what's the repetitive thought running? So you become aware of what's going through your head, right? So 97% of our thoughts are repetitive. It's the same thing over and over and over. And this is a problem, the mind becomes attached to the story and it's really hard to break out of that loop. But with practice of observing the thoughts, okay, we're just watching them. We're not getting attached to them. So we can observe the thoughts and we can observe the feelings. It's easy to identify with it, or not identify it, as I should say. Okay, number five, what's the worst thing that could happen? Okay, so look at your worst fears. Maybe could you go bankrupt? Or could you end up going back to that job that you hated, or whatever that is? Or so if that happened, say if you went bankrupt, so if that happened, what's the very worst that could happen after that? What is the worst thing that could happen to you? So we want to get down to the deepest fears. And we could end up saying, oh my God, I could die painfully in the gutter like a drunken bum and no one would care and people would step over me. And, so it's these worst fears that are driving you. And and they prevent you from doing what you want because, these are our thoughts and our instincts that want to keep us safe. We want to keep us in the familiar, the uncomfortable, but we just keep doing the same thing. So, so you've got to really look at fear in the face, your worst fear, and just go, okay, there you are. I recognize you. And that's a very empowering place to be. So our worst fears are highly unlikely. So look at your life up to here. Haven't you always been okay? You've always been absolutely fine. You've always, we are resilient human beings. So we can look at these fears and we might laugh at them even, because they're so ridiculous. You will never, ever, ever be a drunken bum in the gutter painfully dying. That is just not going to happen. Okay. But these fears are there. So we have to recognize them, and it's cathartic to look at them. Okay, so we acknowledge them, see them as interesting, like even be amused, but we don't identify with them. Like we don't have to believe them. Okay. So number 6, what's your ideal situation? What was the best that could happen? Okay, because we're so fixated on the problem that the best doesn't even enter our minds, does it? We're so inhabited by our fears that we don't dare to dream. So push yourself to the dream and write this down, write all these points down. You just pause the video, but write this down, because it's gonna absolutely transform the way that you feel, and it always works for me. So I encourage you to do that. I urge you to do that. So yeah, so the best, write down the best, push yourself to the dream. What's your ideal outcome in this situation? What could be the best thing that happens? Okay, so number 7. Now I'm going to ask you something, and you've got to be really honest here. So why isn't that ideal that you want a reality in your life already? So why aren't you achieving that now? And there's a really good reason why I ask this, because whatever you come up with is your underlying deepest core belief. Okay. So that could be, I'm not very good with money, or it could be, I don't have the time, or it could be, I think I might fail. These are just examples, but you should always come up with, because it will just come up from deep down. It will just, you have the answers. These are just questions to probe what's going on underneath. So you're going to thoroughly believe this belief, and you'll believe in it for years and years and years of your life. And that's why you'll procrastinate, and that's why you'll feel stuck, because it's the same fear, this same belief that's driving everything that you do. And how you do one thing is how you do everything, of course. So you might sit around just dreaming and not taking action. You're just sitting on the couch doing the same old thing, thinking, oh, that would be lovely, but you need to take action. But it's this belief that is the reason why you're not taking the action. Okay, because there's something underneath, and you could be blaming other people that have got nothing to do with it. You're just blaming them, or you might not be, but you might be blaming them because you're not doing something that you should be doing. Okay, maybe you didn't understand how to take that action. Maybe you didn't want to understand. Okay, so whatever it is, just be honest and just write it down. Okay, number 8, what affirmation can you come up with that exactly contradicts that deep underlying belief? We want something that counteracts it, so the complete opposite. Because these beliefs aren't just words, we've heard them from our parents, our caregivers, teachers, or just people throughout our life. For me, that's a good 40-something years. I'm not going to go into my age, but that's a long time to keep hearing the same thing over and over, because whatever we hear and we internalize it, it's true for us, even if something is not true. Okay, but we say it to ourselves over and over and over for years, and because we say it over and over, like I say, we accept it as true. So most of us somewhere along the line think it's hard to make money if we believe it's a struggle. We're all raised with limiting or negative beliefs around money, success, life, the nature of life. But we can counteract those beliefs, so we can change those beliefs. And that's why looking and finding the belief and breaking it apart is so important. but then to create a new perspective on the top of the old ashes of your old limited belief system. So instead, choose better words, the exact opposite, life affirming, captivating, empowering, positive words. So the best affirmations are the opposite of your core beliefs. Okay, so for example, a new affirmation would be, obviously relax, breathe. So one for me is, I have more than enough time, space, and energy and fun to create the things that I want, and I deserve to invest in who I am and become better every day in every way. Okay, so those are just some, 8 questions and a little bit about, why this is so important, because it's so easy to get caught up in that lulling, non-moving energy, and it's so much better to be free of those things. So I hope that was interesting. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you again soon.